What's going on,
Yeah,
guys?
chilling,
Wel-
bro. Just trying to get jacked.
Welcome to the podcast. We have a guest today.
What's
Another guest.
good? What's good, guys?
We got Prab, physio for firefighters.
Firefighters.
Actually,
No, physio for fighters. We're at
Someone
the
in the gym. We were working out today, and there's a guy in the gym who's like, "Yo, you're that guy, right? Prab, physio for firefighters." And I was like, "Yo,
yo,
is
that'd
that
be a
for real,
sick
bro?"
niche,
That would be. I'm sure someone's probably doing it, but
bro.
yeah,
that was jokes. I heard that started dying. Anyways, tell us a bit about yourself. You're a physio therapist, right? You've been in it for a while. Give us some background on yourself.
yeah, for sure. So I'm a physiotherapist, and I'm specialized in helping combat sport athletes. So pretty much where it started from was that I worked in a couple clinics, and then I started doing Muay Thai myself. And I was always just helping some of the fighters after class, just helping them understand and get rid of all these like physio myths. But there are all these dumb things going around in like the fight community because either they want to completely stop the sport, or they pretty much will just keep full sending it until they get hurt again. There are all these myths. So I was helping people already, and then I just decided, you know what, I kind of want to help these people more. So then I started taking it more seriously, started my own practice, and now I pretty much just work with people involved in combat sports, helping them solve injuries and mobility issues at the root cause so they can train the way they want to train. That's my main mission.
Why did you choose like being a physio?
Well, I started with just wanting to be involved in the medical field because I'm brown and my parents
Well,
wanted me
that's
to be a
the
doctor,
greatest explanation ever. Yeah,
basically. So
I'm
then
brown, bro. What do you mean?
I'm brown. I wanted, and
Yo,
engineering like wasn't my thing, and I
yeah,
didn't want to go into law, so
yeah.
it's time to be a doctor. But something about it didn't appeal to me as much. Like I'd never wanted to just like be sitting at a desk or like giving medication. That wasn't the part of it that spoke to me. It was more about how do I like actually help people change their health, change the way they feel. And I kind of figured out because I was playing basketball one day and I like tore like three of the ligaments off my ankle. Um, so I ended up in the physio clinic at McMaster for a
Mm.
long time, like a couple weeks, and I started liking the environment. And then I just realized that okay, these are the people that are really like on the ground, right? That are changing people's lives. Like almost like you guys too. Like we're the people that are really making the difference in healthcare and helping people like change their life. So then that's when I decided to shadow at that clinic. I became like a student clinical therapist there. And then I became a student field therapist for one of the basketball teams there. And then it just like kept going from there. And then I wrote the MCAT, but I never applied to med school just because by then I'd figured out I just don't want to do it. And that's what got me into physio. Like that's what made me really want to take this seriously.
No,
Did
sick.
that
I did.
happen?
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I was gonna just say best Fez practitioners I've just noticed is like usually they go through their own injury and they have to like rehab
Yeah.
themselves and then it has to be like a whole reverse engineering process and they're like, holy shit, okay.
Yeah.
Instead of just like hopping into something, the passion comes from like, yo, I just fixed my own ankle and like I felt like I couldn't walk or whatever in that moment. And then you came back fully from it. It's like, yo, so how many people are going through that, right? And they think like it's like end of the
Yeah.
sport. So no, that's awesome, man.
Did that
100%.
happen before? Like, did physio happen before you got into combat sports, or combat sports happen before you got into physio? Like, how'd you get into that?
Yeah, so I always did karate when I was younger, but it wasn't like it was just like kids karate. You know what I mean? Like I did it for
Yeah.
8, 9 years, but it wasn't like real combat sports. But I always had like the itch to do it because by the time I had to stop because of university and all that. But that's when we were really getting into the fun parts, like sparring and like actually like fucking hitting each other and like the fun parts, right? And by then I stopped. So there was always like this itch, but I just couldn't do it while I was in physio school. Like I was focused on the masters and it was just too much going on. So then as soon as I was kind of established and settled, I was like, hey, what can I do that gets me back into that space? And then that's where I found Muay Thai. So I guess I was involved before, but then I did physio. Then I really got involved like 3, 4 years ago again.
Yeah.
Sick, bro. I tried kickboxing last year in
Yeah.
September. That dog pound in
Dog
Brampton.
pound. Yeah, yeah.
I
Dog
did
pounds.
I did I think 9 weeks. But the thing that messed me up was bro, the classes were like 8 to 9 p.m. every night. I'm
Don't
like,
get me
bro,
started.
I sleep at 9. It was like
Yeah.
banging my sleep, but then also started banging my shoulder because like the
Yeah.
holding the pads up. Bro, some of
Yeah.
these guys like the instructor would clearly tell them it's like you make sure you focus on technique first. You're not just focusing on power. These like 16, 17-year-old kids, they just deck the
Yeah.
fucking every single time,
Yeah.
bro. And they're like kicking and then like they almost like hit me in the head. And like
Yep.
some of these brown guys, bro, like I don't know
Yep.
what their parents feed them, but even you actually, you're pretty lanky. Like you're tall, right?
Yeah.
Like so like everyone's so tall. And so when the guy kicks, I'm like, yo, I have to like guess it, even though I have everything on.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
would like deck you with like the side of the leg. But
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
should like just bang my shoulder, bro. I was like, okay, F
100%.
this. But it's
That's
fun.
where I get, yeah, it's fun. That's where I get all my patience from.
There you go.
It's just people like being idiots, right? But at the
I gotta
same
show
time,
up.
like,
Yeah.
that's what needs to change, and that's kind of why I wanted to get involved with it. Is that okay? Like, there's a lot of people getting involved in the sport. It's just getting more popular. Like, yeah, you tried it, right? Like, there's probably like you probably watched UFC or something that made you want to just give it a go, whatever it was. It's
Yeah.
just getting more popular, and because of that, there's a lot of people that aren't prepared for it. Like, they don't strength train. They have never done a sport in their life, and all of a sudden they're dealing with these like 17-year-old kids who, like, I don't know, they have their first heartbreak or something, and they're taking it out
Yeah.
on Rounit with the pads, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Broke
yeah,
my heart
it's
too. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that's what made me kind of get involved with it.
What are some of like the big, like you mentioned, there's these beliefs that in the fighting community when it comes to rehab. What are some of the biggest things you see? Because I think we see similar things when it comes to strength training, when it comes to lifting as well. But just highlight like maybe like give us your top three like myths or like beliefs that aren't true in that industry.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it comes down to like pain and injury. So when someone starts feeling pain or they have an injury, there's two main mistakes that they make. One is just taking it off completely, or maybe they go talk to their family doctor who just says, okay, just quit boxing or quit Muay Thai. That's the only way it'll get better. So then they just take 3, 4 weeks off and they think that's going to fix it. They come back, their body's not prepared. They haven't strengthened anything up. They're still having mobility issues. They have no stability in their entire body. So it comes back. And then they're like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to quit. So that's one side. The second side is like what you would expect, which is like they're hurt, but they're like, you know what? I'm a fighter. This is just like life. So I'm just gonna keep doing it. And then they end up making it worse and worse and worse until they're forced to stop. Right. So I feel like it is similar to lifters. Like there's some people who they might their knee might hurt a little bit and they're like, okay, it hurts a little bit, so I'm just gonna take the whole week off. And that's not good. Like you guys have probably realized that too. If it hurts like a tiny bit, but it's not getting aggravated after the workout, you probably should be in there doing as much as you can. But if it's more than 4 out of 10, then you should take it easy. If it's getting aggravated every time you go to the gym, then you should take it easy. So there is an overlap, and that's like a main part of it is the management of pain and injury is just like people have no idea what the fuck they're doing. And that's kind of like it's kind of all our faults. Like it's like doctors, physios that are operating on outdated knowledge. So that's where like we need to really step up and tell them like, yo, like it's fine. Like I do this on a daily basis. You'll be fine, and just give them that reassurance. So that's like the main stuff that I see.
Yeah, it's funny because Brandon said the same thing. From the lab, we just did a podcast with him, and like
Nice.
it seems to be the you guys just need to go on a bunch of podcasts, bro. So you got to restart your physio podcast
Let's
because
do
it
it.
seems to be the same thing where like everyone, I physio or chiros, is just like yo, like I was kind of turned off by the industry, or like I'm in it now because I want to change the tide a little bit because the thought process is really old school, where like you just like bring them in and you give them like 17 different rehab exercises that the person is not going to do, so they keep just coming in all the time, right? And then never
Yeah.
really get rid of the pain. So no, it's good, man. It's awareness is important, right? People don't know like people think
Yeah.
once they have something, it's gonna stay like that. But it's how to always go to a physio. Like that shouldn't be the case, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's why the way I do things is actually like when they come in, I say, okay, this is how long I think it's going to take. And that's pretty much all you need to do. And when you're better, okay, get out of here. Like I'm trying to get you better as fast as possible. And it does come down to the business model too. Like we don't need to get into it, but like obviously the more someone comes in, the more you get paid in that business model. So that's why starting your own practice is actually better for the patients too. because I don't need someone to come in like twice a week for the rest of their life. Like I'm good. So I'm going to treat someone differently than someone who does need to fill up their caseload and have a bunch of patients coming in for them to like pay, right? And that's another problem with the whole industry is just the way that things are run. They're just going to try to get people in. Like there's literally a statistic in clinics called PVA or patient visit average
Okay.
that people use to dictate if you're doing good as a physio. So it means like how many times, like what's the average number of visits each patient is hitting. And if you drop below like 4 or 5, I'm not going to say who, but certain clinic owners will literally
Right.
come to you and be like, yo, we need to get that PVA higher. So maybe you got to like do
That
a
can make
maintenance
sense.
session or like whatever. And I'm like, the fuck? Like, it's
That's wild.
crazy. It's literally like they'll literally like almost threaten your job. So it's kind of fucked. And that's why I quit.
That's where we're here.
Yeah.
Now we can add some value to people who are going through some discomforts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
what are some of like, say you're dealing with the fighters, say you're dealing with someone that comes to the gym. I'm sure like those two populations are separate, but what are some of the most common like physical limitations or mobility things that you see just overall in people? But maybe when it comes to lifters or maybe when it comes to fighters in particular.
Well, hip mobility is a big thing, right? Um, for fighters, definitely with kicking, there's like a misconception that if they just keep showing up, it'll just get better. And I think to some extent it's like that in lifting too, but lifting's a bit different because I feel like if you strength train through a full range of motion, you focus on form, you almost can improve your mobility, but the demands of hip mobility for like kicking is so specific that sometimes you need to actually work on it separately. It's one of those like niche areas where you actually do need to work on it. So that's one of the main physical limitations I see with the mobility side of things. And the other thing is a lot of fighters they don't strength train, right? They don't actually hit the gym because they think they just want to show up and do Muay Thai 5 6 days a week, and they're like, oh, my body will just get used to it, right? But if instead you decrease the amount of times you do Muay Thai and fit in like 2 3 4 strength training sessions, your body's just gonna be more prepared. So I mean, since I've been working with you, like there's times where I'll even like I won't even wrap my hands when I'm hitting pads or whatever, but my wrist used to hurt a lot when I used to hit pads, but because of all the stuff we've been doing, like just holding heavy weights and everything we've done together, right? You just get so much more resilient, and a lot of people don't have that base. So I think they do go together, and I wouldn't say that people don't know about it, but I think it's still an area that people can improve when they're involved in combat sports.
So say for example, like obviously, people listening, they probably go to the gym, they're trying to get jacked, right? Hip mobility wise, I know you mentioned a couple things. So if you want to dive into that a little bit, like I know you mentioned full range of motion, and like making sure your form is proper. Anything else you would say, like for example, because a lot of people will still have tight hips, right?
Yeah.
There's like, yo, my hips feel tight, or like my low back is tight, whatever. We'll focus on the hips for now. So what can someone do in the gym that's trying to get jacked? And on their mobility side, maybe like early on in the workout or end of the workout to like make sure the mobility, or even during the workout, like how they do the exercises, I'm sure is a big thing.
Mhm.
What can they do to like make sure their hip mobility is improved?
Yeah, well, some of these things like me and Kags have implemented, right? Where from the lifting side, if you're working on things like pause squats, tempo squats, or with any lift like that, right? Same thing with deadlifts or whatever, just emphasizing the control in the end range. That's what really makes mobility improvements in the long term, right? So making sure that let's say you can't touch your toes, for example, right? If you take an RDL, you slow it down and you go through your full range, load all the tissues, and then kind of contract from there, your body will adapt and actually make a long-term improvement. And that works a little bit better than just like stretching daily. So another big misconception actually kind of tying back to the last question is people think they need to like stretch every day or stretch for half an hour before the workout and then they're good. Instead, you're better off doing a couple drills based on your specific situation. Like let's say before you get into like your main set, is something I usually do all the time is just like put a light weight on it and just get as low as you can, control the bottom of the squat and come out of it. So controlling the end range with the specific exercise you're using or you're trying to improve the mobility on helps a lot. Now, when it comes to like if you have pain or injury, like those sort of things, like sometimes people when they're squatting or whatever, they get like pinching inside the hips. That's where we need to look at an evaluation, like figure out exactly what's missing. Like maybe you're missing some hip flexion, maybe you're missing some hip internal rotation. And that's where some of these drills can help, where we're, doing things like single leg RDLs, kickstand RDLs to open up the back of the hip. And like if anyone wants to like learn about it after reading or watching this, then I can send a video or like a posterior hip capsule stretch to open up the back of the hip. Um, and like end range strengthening and internal rotation. Like these are all drills that can help, but it's really important to do an evaluation with someone who actually does the sport that you're looking at to address those pain and injury issues. So if you're just struggling with like tightness, just focus on controlling the end range. If there's pain or like pinching or anything like that, probably best to get an assessment. But then there's other drills you can do from there.
Perfect. It kind of like, so I think it ties back into the whole idea of like combining strength training and then your physio stuff, right? So
Yeah,
initially you come step one, it's like, okay, go see a physio, get assessed, see what things need to be improved on. But
yeah,
now the gym part is what's going to create the adaptation, like you're saying,
yeah,
right? And I guess
100%.
that's usually the missing link where like the physios
Yeah,
won't give the people, okay, this is what you go do in the
yeah,
gym, right? And that's where you come in.
100%.
That's why. What's your if obviously I know your Instagram, but what's your exact Instagram so people can go check out the
Yeah,
drills that you're talking about?
yeah. Prab.physio for fighters.
Okay, sick. Not firefighters.
Yeah, we'll do that soon.
We'll do that soon too. Yeah, that'd be sick.
When it comes to like doing mobility or doing drills, I think a lot of guys, especially the ones that we work with, they just want to go in and lift weights. They want
Yeah.
to go straight to the bicep curls. They want to go straight to the bench press, the shoulder press. Um, Do you think someone should be doing mobility even on days they're not going to the gym? Do you think like it should be just for the gym? How can we make it so that person has an easier time doing that as opposed to just going straight to working out and possibly maybe injuring themselves or putting them in positions that where they shouldn't be?
I'd say it depends on the priorities and like how stiff you really are. Like if the mobility issues is your bottleneck and that's what's limiting you from progressing in your strength training. Let's say you physically just cannot hit depth in your squat because your hips are just stiff or pinching or whatever, then you should probably prioritize the mobility and do it on off days too. But if it's just like a little stiff, etc., you can get away with just doing like one or two prep drills before your main movement, do the main movement with full range of motion to the best of your ability, and then just prioritize your activity level outside the gym, right? Like, I mean, I've seen you guys talk about this all the time, like getting your steps up, going on walks, like get a standing desk, get a walking pad. Um, just get your overall activity level up because then your body will maintain the mobility instead of just like stiffening up and then you do all this work to loosen it and then it stiffens up throughout the day, right? But there's like this word for people like that who just go to the gym, but then the rest of the day they're just sitting. I think it's like sedentary active people, something like that, where you're technically active, like you're going to the gym 3, 4 times a week. The
That's such a good point, bro.
Yeah,
That's amazing. Zoom loving it.
balloon. So let's say you're going to the gym 3 or 4 times a week, but then the rest of your day is just like 8, 10, 12 hours sitting at a desk. Like we need a way for you to break that up. Otherwise, you're just going to tighten. So you're probably better off doing that if you're someone who's just like a little bit tight. So like I said, it goes back to the priorities, how bad it really is, if it's really holding you back. And then from there, everyone's different. That's where, working with a professional or like multiple people can be helpful with so you don't have to do that guesswork.
It's funny, right? I think like just walking, right? Just walking more, just doing the basic human function that can right away improve mobility
Yeah.
stuff that we're talking about. And like I think currently like after the competition, I've been slacking on my steps too. Like I just kind of sit here, right? And I'll like do this massive like 3 hours session where like I'll go to the gym, I'll do cardio, but then the rest of the day I'm just sitting. And I've noticed like I feel like even my hips and everything, they're not as tight per se, but I have to like warm up a little extra in the gym, right? Before I was just doing so much steps. Like even cardio wise, I was doing like 90 minutes of treadmill a day,
Yeah.
right? And like I was just getting 12,000 steps too. And like hips felt
Yeah.
fine. Like maybe strength wasn't there because of the low food, but like mobility was fine. Even shoulder mobility. It's weird how it works, but your shoulders feel like more loose. And
100%.
then I find when I'm sitting a lot, I hold my breath a lot too. Like I breathe like
Yeah.
in my traps, and so my like I would think it's shoulder mobility related to like breathing, walking, everything.
Yep.
But I've just noticed like when I do more cardio or like move throughout the day, like even
Yeah.
shoulders feel better. So I don't know if
Yeah.
you have I don't know if you
No,
prescribe things like that, but
for sure. Like if someone's really like globally stiff, then I'll literally put walking in the program. Like there's literally days where it just says
yeah,
walking 10 minutes because it's almost like the reciprocal action. If you want to get technical, it's literally like just the pelvis moving like this.
yeah,
It opens up the pelvis and the rib cage too, as well as a bit of the spine. So a lot of shoulder function is related to the spine and the ribs and how well they move too. So just getting something that's creating this like reciprocal action, it can help open it up. So that's why your shoulders probably felt better. And when I was in Europe in May. I didn't do shit. I didn't do no mobility work. I lifted here and there, but it was just for like the pump. I didn't do shit. And then I came
yeah,
back and I went to Muay Thai like the day after I came back, and I was kicking
yeah,
better than when I left. It was just because of getting like 15, 20,000 steps a day, just loosening everything up. So it's huge. And I think it's something that people skip, to be honest, as coaches and clients too.
100%. It's boring, bro. Just watching.
Yeah. If it's providing you that much benefit, like it's just such an underrated thing where people don't really think about it. But then
Yeah,
like you said, you're kicking better at Muay Thai class after not doing the class for a month in a different country and then coming
Yeah.
back better, right? Um, Staying on that sort of subject, what are some other things that people can sort of do that whether it's not in the gym or it's not in Muay Thai that can either prevent injury, that freeze there, prevent injury or allow them to progress at their sport or get stronger or whatever it is. What are some things that they should focus on?
Um, could you repeat that? You were saying that what can they do outside of class so that they can
Yeah,
prevent
so
injury?
outside of maybe just the actual lifts themselves, like maybe
Yeah.
it's like a mobility routine, maybe it's getting their steps in. What are some things outside of that? Or like that could be one of the things. What are like your top three things prefer preventing injuries so they're doing it long term and staying safe, if you want to call it that?
Yeah. Well, one thing is not ramping up your training load too quick. Like, there's a lot of people that will, and we're gonna see a fuck ton of that. I'm gonna have so many people coming in January because they're gonna sign up for the gym. They're gonna go from doing like nothing to Muay Thai class 5 times a week, and then they're gonna be like, oh shit, my elbow hurts. Like, right? So we want to be really careful with like how we change our training loads over time. Or let's say we were going really hard, we took a little break because something happened, and then we're coming back. That load management piece is really important. So just like smart programming. And I guess that part of that comes down to us. Because a lot of my rehab programs, honestly, like they might at first glance look like some of yours. Like sometimes it just looks like strength training, right? So when I'm doing that with someone that's never done this type of stuff before, we have to ease into it. Even if the goal is eventually getting them in like 4 days, high intensity, we got to start slow. So that's one thing. Um, the second is, yeah, kind of like we talked about, just like a positive, active lifestyle. Like walking's boring, but like kind of just adding it to your lifestyle in some way. Like for me, like I'm not going out on a walk. I'll be real. I can't fucking do it. So I just pair it with like I can't do it. I'm sorry. I've seen you do it. I just can't fucking do it. I can't do it. So I pair it
guys,
with
get your
like
walk in right now. While listening to this podcast, whoever's listening, get up right now and walk. Yeah,
so for me, like when I'm watching NBA or something or like football or whatever at night, I just have the walking path set up on the side and I'll just get my steps in there. So I pair it with something good. It's like what they talk about in Atomic Habits is if you just can't do it because just you're busy or whatever, find something you like doing and then pair it with something where instead of you rotting on the couch, you're just like getting the steps and you'll actually feel better. Like you also won't feel as bad for sitting there and watching football for 2 hours. That's how I feel.
bro, I just had a sick idea, bro. We should do all these podcasts on the walking pad,
Yeah.
guys. Eh?
Yeah, I could do that.
Bro, that would be such like that would be like you're telling the people, say, yo, we're getting a movement in while doing a podcast.
100%.
You know what
This is
I've
like,
noticed though?
yeah,
Sometimes it's just like when I'm on the walking pad, if it's a little bit too fast, yo, like I just struggle to keep that conversation. Like I don't know if that's because my cardio is so bad. Like
yeah.
sometimes I like keep it like
Word.
the last podcast, I was on the walking pad. Bro, low-key kind of tough. I was like, oh damn, I can't even like think straight right now.
Yeah, well, like if you do 10 of them, we'll build the capacity.
Oh, you
You
It's
think
might
so?
have better
adaptation.
cardio.
Yeah, we'll have better cardio. Blood's gonna be flowing with so much ideas, and then we're gonna get people moving. Yeah, everyone's hips are gonna be juicy.
Bro, I was
That's
on this group meeting call once, and there's a guy, he wasn't talking, but he was on the walking pad. He's
Yeah,
muted, and he had this fucking oxygen trainer on. Like he had this thing on. It like basically like reduces the amount of oxygen coming in. So he was like literally doing cardio while on a group call with us. I was just like, people are just different.
it's
People are
crazy.
really different.
Bro, but like this is one of the most basic. You like that book? I'm sure you heard of it, read it. Atomic Habits. Like how you just
Yeah.
stack habits, right? Like put it together with something maybe you like doing. Like
Yeah.
maybe if you like doing the podcast. Honestly, the podcast is one of the best reasons I like doing it. It's like you finally get to talk to people that like in the same game, and it's
Yeah.
more fun based. So I think there would be like the best time to do the walking because I enjoy
Yeah.
doing the podcast, right? What is I
Sure.
want you to stay on the second point with lifestyle. I know we talked about walking, but is there any other things in somebody's lifestyle they can improve specifically that can help maybe improve their mobility or even like
Uh,
performance in the gym?
yeah. So some things that actually you brought this up earlier, breathing, right? Like being more aware of your breathing. And that's something that I'll be honest, I've fallen off this, but things like meditation
Mm-hmm.
makes you more aware of your breath. Like you have become aware that you sit and you hold your breath, probably because you've tried to do deep breathing at some point. Like that's how you became aware of it. So when
Yeah.
we breathe, we also expand our spine, we expand our ribs, we expand we kind of just in general open up. So that's something that I've noticed with some of my clients. Like when they've started doing things like meditation, they actually improve their mobility, both due to like the physiological, like deep breathing. But I think part of it also comes down to just reduction in stress.
Mm.
So that's another part of lifestyle, which is just like healthy stress management and making sure that you are managing your stress well. You're not taking on too much on your plate. You're setting those boundaries at work or whatever. Because then all of a sudden, instead of being like this, like, fuck, I'm just freaked out, you kind of down regulate the nervous system and you just in general feel better. So those two, like meditating and going into that stress management, those are pretty big.
You think because of like your trip that you came back from and like you're kicking better, part of it might be also because like you're probably just relaxed during the trip,
Yeah, could be.
right?
Could be that too. Um, I think
Yeah.
that's big for people too, like people that have just been overworking. Like I just
Yeah.
one client actually, it's actually a good story. So he was feeling like a lot better, and then there were 3 days where he went on a really hectic work trip, and he was sitting a lot. He was stressed. He was eating like ass, whatever. But he was still doing the mobility work while he was on the trip. He came
Yeah.
back, and then he was like, "Dude, like I'm like in more pain, and I'm like, um, I'm not kicking as well as I was like last week. Like, what's going on?" And I was just like, "Okay, like, what was your activity level like in general on the trip? What was your stress levels like? How's your food? How's your sleep?" And he's like, "Yeah, they're all shit. But I did the mobility work though." I'm like, "But like, this is not it, right?" That's where people sometimes, like coaches specifically, they kind of miss out. Is like they don't treat the whole person. They're just like, "Oh, my program, do my program, you're done, you're good."
Yeah.
And that's missing like 70% of the picture. Like
Yeah.
honestly, like sometimes I feel like I could fucking give them whatever. And then as long as I hit like the sleep, the stress, the walking, like helping them make an improvement, they might even feel better. So that's something that we just need to do better. And then people in general, they kind of just need to be more aware.
Yeah. It's a good balancing act, right? Because like as like say in your world, the physio world, the coaches training, whatever, it's like the client comes in, it's like okay, they just want to get out of pain in your case. Or in our case, maybe it's like, yo, bro, I just want to either get really jacked or like I want to lose weight. But then you tell them, say, hey bro, you gotta sleep more than 4 hours first off, right? Or be
Yeah.
like, hey bro, you gotta eat a fruit. Like or you gotta go for a walk. Or like say like you bring them, Kags probably brings up now meditation and affirmations together. But like say like if like you tell them to meditate, they'd be like, bro, what the fuck you mean? I'm just trying to get jacked, bro. Like I'm trying to deck
Yeah.
Jasker at the class tomorrow, right? Or whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? So like it's like telling them to be like, okay, you gotta improve this 70% of the game is right here, which is
Yeah.
actually feeling good. And then that the byproduct is like you feel good, so you make better decisions in your nutrition, and then your training starts to improve.
Yeah.
But then they're looking at this part right here only, right? They're like, how does that help me? So
It's tough. Yeah.
it's hard for me too, bro. Like even during the whole
Yeah.
competition thing, it was just body was so under stress, and I was like, I'm doing all these like mobility stuff, but like my shoulder still feels tight, whatever. And now I'm eating like 3,900 calories a day, right? And bro, like my shoulders feel jacked, like knees feel fine, like everything
Yeah.
is good, sleep is better, right? And it's just because the lifestyle part actually improved, right? I
Yeah.
got rid of some of the stress, but it's hard to tell that to somebody, right? So it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, you gotta somehow,
It's
because it
tough.
takes longer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
It's almost like it's like sales too, right? Like we
yeah,
can't tell them that. They have to convince themselves. So that's where like the questions we ask sometimes they can help. We have to make them realize. Like with that guy, I never told him like, hey, it's because XYZ. I'm like, okay, what was your this like? What was this like? What was this like? Oh, interesting. How did you feel on that day where you went and got drunk with all your whole office, right? How did you feel during the workout the next day? He's like, oh yeah, actually, like when I looked at the app, like I reported like pain levels above 5 or 6. I'm like, oh, cool. What do you think that means? And then I just get him to say it himself. And then when he says it out loud, he's like, oh fuck, like that makes so much sense. So I think it is really hard. It's a hard part, especially when people just want to get jacked. But yeah, it's about making them realize it themselves. That's the biggest thing that I changed because I never used to do that. Like last year with all my clients, I was like, bro, it's because of this. You need to do this. You need to do XYZ if you want this XYZ outcome. It just wasn't working, or people were just still having issues with adherence and stuff. That's the biggest change I made. Is that okay, cool, like you did it twice. Like what's gotten in the way? What's gotten in the way? Well, I'm really stressed at work. Okay, like what's something you do every day that we can pair this with that you enjoy doing? They're like, man, I wish I could watch basketball, but I feel unproductive while watching it, and I have all this work to do. I'm like, okay, so like let's say we were to do some of the stretches while you watch basketball. Would you be able to enjoy that activity more? Like, yeah, maybe. Why don't you give it a try? I remember they did it and they're like, oh shit, this is like a cheat code. It changed my life. I didn't do shit. Like I didn't do anything. You just figured it out. So that's
yeah, that
something I think we can do better.
yeah, that comes with experience too. Like I think it's just like time. You can't literally can't convince anybody, right? They have to convince themselves. If I give an idea, I'm probably gonna do it better than like you tell me to do something. I'll be like, yo, what does he know?
Yeah,
Even though he's
exactly.
professional, even though he's went to school for 10 years or whatever it is, he probably doesn't know. I know myself better, right? So,
Exactly.
nah, it's important,
100%.
man. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So that's actually I have a question for you guys then, like, because your stuff is a little bit different. So have you had any instances where there's someone that came in and they're just like, I don't really care about the lifestyle. I'll do whatever it takes. I just want to get jacked and I want to do it as fast as possible. Right. And how have you handled that?
Okay, you wanna go?
You can go
Okay,
first.
here you go. So I think majority of my guys actually come like that, right? And this is actually a trick to trying to get jacked. What I kind of do is I lure people in with like, yo, you're trying to get jacked, right? So you sell this like jacked. It's like, and they're like, I want to get jacked. And then when they come in, right, I actually lay out the map for them. I'm like, hey, bro, like, and most of the people now, like I've noticed, especially online, they come from experiences of like being in the gym already for a minute. It gets a little bit tougher if someone's like young, 17, 18, 19, right? But if someone's like 25, 26, 30, 35, even 40, 45, they've trained a lot in the past. I kind of just reverse engineer. It's like, hey, bro, like you've done this for 15 years and you're still kind of small, right?
Mhm.
There's usually a missing link. And then once they reverse engineer it, they're like, okay, they've gone in these waves of like rebounding and they've gone in weight loss or weight gain and then like lost the weight and then consistent in the gym for 6 months, 12 months. So we just break it down. It's like, hey, bro, I know you want to get jacked really quick and you're going to do anything possible, right? But I'm telling you, it's as simple as just like a 45-minute session in the gym. And then if you can recover from that 45-minute session in the gym, I'll give you more, right? Just like you want this, I'm telling you this the fastest way possible because the other shit you've done has actually slowed you down for 15 years, right? So it's easier when it's that kind of context. But obviously, a lot of people like 17, 18, I want to get jacked quick, right? And that's the society we live in right now. The reason I did this competition thing, bro, like I clearly show them proof. I'm like, bro, I competed back in 2017, right? To get a six pack, I was 137 pounds. Now I competed in 2024. I'm 148 pounds. I gained 11 pounds of muscle in 7 years,
Mm.
right? And you want to get jacked in a year? There's literally impossible unless I give you some sauce, like some Laziz
Mm.
sauce or whatever you want. So I kind of just like use that proof, right? I'm like, yo, like I'm not lying, like literally what I've done and based on my knowledge. So then you
Yeah.
just build so much trust and rapport that they just believe you more, right? And
Mm.
that's why like every time I like talk to somebody about getting a job, I'm like, it has to be a lifestyle, right? Like in the community too, people joke about it all the time. Like, Manraj jokes about it too. This fucker has a book club, right? We have a book club every Saturday. But like my game is like, yo, get into people's head about making it into a lifestyle. Like it's just a lifelong thing now. It can't be a
Mm.
quick getting jacked thing. But I lure people in, get jacked, but it's
Yeah.
like, yo, now let's create it into a lifestyle, right? And
Yeah.
now is when the byproduct is to actually get jacked, right? But
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for myself too, it comes down to like when people come to work with me, it's because they've already done all that like super crash dieting. They've worked out really, really hard and then they've fallen off or like they've never been able to find consistency. And it's because they're already going balls to the wall or they're not trying hard enough. It's just all or nothing, right? So when I try to get my approach when it comes to training or nutrition, it's like, yes, we need to change things, but if we're doing a complete 180 of what you're already doing, you've already proven to yourself that that doesn't work for you because that's why you're here today. That's why we're constantly coming back. Yo, I
Mm.
can't seem to get in shape this year. I'm gonna try again next year, right? Instead of continuing to feed you into that, it's like, okay, we're here to do something different. We're here to make this, like you said, a lifestyle, right? For the rest of your life. Let's make sure you can eat properly. Let's make sure you can train properly. Let's make sure you're not starving yourself all the time. And with that, they usually have so much better outcomes. They're like, yo, I'm actually like feeling strong when I go to the gym. I have so much energy. I'm eating more calories and I'm losing weight. Like that's the biggest thing I hear. It's like, yeah, you didn't have to eat like 800 calories, starve yourself, and then gain 30 pounds back because you just didn't know how to do it properly the first time.
Mm.
Right. So I think the people that work with myself, that's kind of what you're getting into. So because they know, oh snap, this is what happens when I don't do it properly. And that's what I always bring it back to. So they'll be like, yo, I'm not losing weight fast enough. I'm like, well, we can do that. We can get you to lose weight fast enough. But what happened last time you did that? And they're like, oh snap,
Mm.
lost it all and I gained it all back. I'm like, I have no problem putting you on 1,000 calories. That's not that hard for me to do. I just change your button and you're gonna do it. But what's gonna happen to you a week in, what's gonna happen to you 2 weeks in, right? You're gonna feel like shit. You're not gonna get the look that you want, and then you're just gonna bounce back and end up binging. And when you say
Mm.
it like that, that's when people go, "Oh snap, you're right. I did do that, right?" So
Yeah.
it is like a matter of like understanding where the person's at, and then sort of giving them that perspective that they already know, right? They know it's gonna
Yeah.
take a little bit of time, and once they do that, then it kind of clicks for everyone, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
it's a weird like circle because like everyone goes through waves, right? Like you want something quick, but then you realize the quick way is actually the longest way because then you don't get any long-term
mm.
results from it. And then as even like a coach, bro, like when I started, I was like, every client I can possibly get, I'm like, yeah, bro, you're 20 pounds and yo, want to go Cancun next week? I got you, right? Like we'll just say yes, yes to everything. But then over time you realize like if you really care, you're gonna tell them the truth. It's like, hey, bro, like you're already 130 pounds. I know you don't like your little belly and your chest fat, but if you cut right now, you're gonna get even skinnier and you're gonna have no muscle on your frame. So trust me, muscle is your game, even though you want to lose fat right now. It's like let's put muscle on for 12 months. That's actually may take longer, but actually shorter long term because like
Mm.
they'll still just be skinny fat if they just
Yeah.
keep cutting, right? So it's like actually caring about them is telling them the truth, kind of. But then, yeah,
Yeah.
like Kag said, you have to meet them where they're at. If they're like, have a bad relationship with food or whatever it is, then you gotta kind of go in there. But I'm sure mobility wise, bro, like a lot of people too, like you probably give clients like certain drills, right? You give them, it's like,
Mm.
hey, bro, like you need to do X, Y, and Z. And the client comes in next week and their mobility has not improved, right? Because they haven't done the drills, but they tell you it's like, oh, I did a couple times, like I have, like they probably
Mm.
weren't doing it intentionally, I'm only saying this because I've done this many times, right? So how do you deal with that kind of stuff? Can you tell sometimes when someone has not done the drills?
Yeah, I have an adherence tracker like built in, just like I
Oh,
think you
sick.
guys have in your apps too, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm pretty big on that from the beginning. I'm like, hey, there's a couple of things we need. If you want to like, I was like, you're trying to take this seriously, right? Like you wouldn't have paid me fucking whatever you just paid me if you're not trying to do this. They're like, yeah, of course. I'm like, okay, so there's like a couple main things you need. One is I need to see that the workouts are getting done. If they're not, then that's the first thing I would ask. If you're not seeing results, if that shit's not done, then don't complain, right? That's the first thing. The
Yeah,
second
sick.
thing is if you don't understand anything, then you need to send me a message right away or send me a video of the exercise. But basically the point is like just setting it from the jump.
Hmm.
And then when they come back, like you can just bring it up. I'm like, hey, like just like I talked about when we started, I'm seeing that you've only done it once or twice. Like I'm not a dick about it, but I'm just like, um, I'll usually say like, um, why is that? Like what's gotten in the way? And
For
then
sure.
if they're like, honestly, I don't have an excuse, like blah, 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 then I'll say, okay, what are you going to do better next time? But if something actually came up, like that's life, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
You
I
you
think,
actually have app like for the
yeah, it's
physio?
not my app. Like it's just
No,
the app
no.
where I host the
Yeah.
exercises. And
Okay,
then when they
sick.
click that they completed the exercise, I can see if they did the workout on the day's schedule. And then just on a check-in call, I'll pull it up and I'll just look like, okay, it looks like you got them in. How's everything been feeling? That's
Yeah,
kind of like just the flow. So before when I first started, I didn't do that at all. And I had the
for sure.
problem you described a lot where
Yeah.
um because at that time, if you're not tracking it, I don't know. It actually could be that the program I gave him isn't effective. So I would ask all these questions trying to figure it out. Like, oh, like how's sleep, how's whatever, how's stress levels, like are you sitting a lot? But at the same time, like we kind of need those objective measures. That's what's actually helped me the most is the systems that are in place. And I have it all like written out, like, hey, this is what we need to like set with the expectations from the beginning. And every time we have a check-in, like this is the way it goes. This is how I can actually make sure we know what variable is making you not get better. So from
That's
my end,
awesome, man.
that's how I
Yeah.
make it easier. Because it's complicated, right? It's like just like you guys in the gym, like, oh, I don't feel like my bench isn't getting any better. Okay. I haven't gotten any videos from you. Um, I can't see that you tracked anything. Food hasn't been tracked, weight hasn't been tracked. If it's not there, then you can't complain because we don't know. We have no variables to monitor. So
Yeah.
I think that helps a lot.
Bro, like all the like yeah, a lot of physios, bro. You should just do like a seminar for physios, man. Like that's so much better, right? Like say for example, like my dad, he has like I think he went last year or whatever. And then
Yeah.
he does the same three exercises still for he got from the other one, right? And like there's no recording, there's no tracking of it. He says yeah, I does it, but I'm like, yeah, I've never not seen you do it. So he just restarted now. But like the
Yeah.
physio you go back to, they're like, how does it feel today? It's like, I feel all right. But it's like if you're clearly seeing the workouts, like it's so important, man. You should just do a
Yeah.
seminar for physios, bro. Physio
That's a good
101.
idea.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
It'd be
And I think it comes down to the business model though. The reason I'm able to do that is like when they're in the clinics, they got documentation, they got all these charts to do, they got the clinic giving them all these like 10, 12 patients a day.
yeah.
It's hard to keep track of everyone, right? So it's that's why I decided to do my own thing because I can see less people. Yeah, I charge a little bit more, but I give everyone more as well. And I say that from the beginning. Like, yeah, like if someone like sometimes people will bring it up, like they'll go like, oh yeah, like XYZ physio down the street charges like fucking 100 per session and I pay as I go. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, would they message you in between? Did you ever get any support in between sessions? Like, let's say you had an aggravation, you had to wait 2 weeks until you saw them again, right? Oh, I could have sent them an email. Like, did you email them? No. Okay, so it's not the same. So I
Yeah.
think the problem actually starts from the business and the industry as a whole.
Yeah.
So as we shift to this type of model, and a lot of more physios are doing it now, when you're on your own, you work the way you want. And that's actually better for the client.
100%.
Yeah. So
Even like just accountability purposes, right? Like
yeah.
you just the client is so much more accountable. Like when you're those physio appointments every 2 weeks bi-weekly, it's like yo, you just show up for that 1 week. But like you said, messaging between the week, right? It's like, are you making progress or not? That's like, damn, bro. This guy's
Yeah.
like a physio online business coach. Right?
That's what we're doing.
He could be a no. It's wicked, bro. It's that's how like you cave your own path. But like the beauty is, it's obviously a need, right?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
it's a big gap in the industry. So like you're combining like the training and the physio world, which is important
Yeah.
because like that's how people get results. And then people get results, they're gonna feel healthier, they're gonna get more jacked, and
Yeah.
then everyone's gonna improve, right? So
100%. And that's where I have like
I like it.
I work with an incubator called the Honey Badger Project. It's a business that helps physios launch their own practice in their own specific niche. So when I started this, this is where I kind of learned it. And when I started it, they helped me like launch this part of it. And now I work for them as a coach. So I actually help other physios do this, but
Amazing.
I haven't done like a seminar or anything. But that's the biggest thing that helped me is their implementation of some other tool. Like just like you guys have an app, like I know
Yeah.
Kags uses Trainerize. It just like you can easily just see what's going on. Like that's something that's been missing in the rehab space. And
Yeah.
it's just that you're very dependent on the physio. Like the physio goes and feels your back and goes like, oh yeah, it feels better. Like he's probably seen 50 people since the last time he's seen you, right? Like how do you
100%.
really know it's better? So even like let's say I see someone the first time, I'll do an objective measure of of their strength instead of just feeling them, and then I can write it. Like we have tests like how many single leg hamstring bridges can you do on each leg to failure, and then every time they come in, not every time, but maybe like once a month or whatever, we'll reassess it. And if it's not getting better, then we didn't actually make a change. And if it does, then now
Yeah.
we know like, oh, hey, you used to be able to do 40 on the left, 26 on the right. Now you can do 42 on the left and 38 on the right. So obviously it's working.
Amazing.
Mhm.
So
Do
I'm,
you you do a hybrid though, right? You do like in person and then you give them program like so you do the in-person assessment because I'm sure one of the biggest things is like say like somebody's just online and they're like I prefer like manual therapy or like manual
yeah,
things, right? And then
yeah.
how do you get over that hurdle if like but you do in person, I'm guessing.
Yeah, if they're locally, it's all in person.
Okay.
For everyone online, I do have like a purely online offer too,
Oh,
but
sick.
it's mostly for like mobility. If it's like an injury where I feel like it would be hard, I will literally say like go see that person first
Okay,
or
cool.
see that person along with what we do. But online for mobility, I like there's kind of a system to how I can figure out like how they're
For sure.
moving, mobility, like it does work. But when we get that, I usually like that objection almost. I usually just ask like, "Hey, have you tried manual therapy before?" Okay, cool. How was your experience? Oh yeah, it helped for like a day, but then it came back, right? I'm like, okay, cool. So like you know that it gives you temporary relief. So if you're ever aggravated, that person's still there and it's
Yeah.
covered by whatever insurance. But obviously it came back. So do you think it worked? And then it's the same thing, like just getting them to like realize themselves, like for a lot of people, that's not the answer. It needs to be paired with some change, like some lifestyle change or activity modification or exercise program.
Yeah.
Really important. So making them realize that is really important. Like the whole purpose of manual therapy is just like a transient, like a temporary reduction in symptoms so that you can do the exercise that makes you better. Right. And it shouldn't take half an hour. Like if someone's just rubbing you on a table for half an hour, they're just like trying to line their pockets. It doesn't work. I think you like who do I follow that you guys know too? Like Coach Baxter. I follow him too, and he's posted about that before as well. Like
Yeah.
it like after like 5-10 minutes, you should have already made the nervous system changes that you needed, and then we move on to the actual session. So that's kind of what I try to get them to realize on their own.
I have one last question. Kegs, do you have?
Yeah, you're good.
No, okay, so how has obviously you work with Kegs, right? And you guys always train together. But how have you noticed like you getting involved in strength training, right? How important is that part in general in terms of mobility, health, lifestyle, everything, longevity in the game? Like how important is that one component? Because you're obviously doing it and you're doing it with a professional too.
Yeah, I think it's like necessary. I think it's really important. And it shows up everywhere. Like I used to think like back in the day, even before I started working with him, like, yeah, it just makes you look better, etc. But there's times where it's actually like it saved me from getting like seriously hurt. Like in Muay Thai, like I got swept or whatever, landed like straight on my wrist. And yeah, it hurt a bit, but I think I would have broken my wrist if I didn't do that. So injury prevention wise is massive. Mobility wise, there's a bit of a myth where if you just do strength training, you're gonna get stiff. And that's only true if you're if you're just fucking full sending it. And
Reps and
I'll be
reps.
honest, I used to do that. I'll keep it real. And it wasn't even heavy because I wasn't even strong. But for me, it was full sending. And I was going as hard as I possibly could and just fucking like half rep in on bench. And like, I can't even watch some of those videos. It makes me cringe. But that's something that he helped me get over because we've been working together for a while now. And he helped me realize that like, okay, when we really like focus on the right form, we can actually improve our mobility in other places too. So as my like squat depth, for example, improved, I would notice that after squatting, I actually felt better. I actually felt more loose that day because I didn't just focus on just lifting as much weight as possible. I mean, we did today, but it's an exception. Uh, Typically, I'm focused on just getting as much range as possible, and then my body just feels better after. So I think it's really important, and yeah,
No, I think I think we started the conversation with this. I was just trying to bridge the gap again. It's like combine both together, right? Yes,
yeah,
physio stuff is important. Combine the strength training, and then you're gonna be happy, healthy, and jacked, right? So it's like combining everything is and then obviously lifestyle stuff like you talked about, stress, sleep, walking, all the good stuff, right?
yeah, 100% for sure.
Any last words, advice, people getting out there, trying to get jacked, trying to get mobile? Any last
Yeah,
few?
I would just say like take your time. It's like what you were saying earlier, like just take your time. It's fine. It doesn't need to happen in like even 1 year, 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
Just relax. Because like right now, the place I'm at, when I first started strength training, I wanted to just like get jack quick. But these are like the numbers I wanted to be doing strength training wise too. And it took a while. But what's more important was that I feel good doing it. I'm not just like feeling like stiff and feeling like shit. Like it's feeling better. So when you do it that way, you start to make gains and you don't even realize instead of you like chasing the gains. So just take your time and just fuck it. Just live life, you know?
Sick, man. And guys, if you check out Prab, I just pulled up his IG. So do we have 17K followers? Damn, bro. We should be on his podcast. But check him out, guys. If you want to book it, like he has a link right here. And all the physio stuff he was talking about here, he has some good amount of value too. Like the toe touching one, I think he's talking about right here in the video
Yeah.
or in the podcast. So obviously people listening on audio, it's prob dot physio for fighters. Actually,
Yeah.
now I'm gonna keep reading this firefighters, but everything is fucking red too, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
But yeah,
This
bro.
way.
Respect for coming on, bro.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Yeah, we'll run it back sometime soon.
100%. All right,
Sweet.
bro.
Hope you guys
All
enjoyed.
right,
If you guys
brothers.
like the podcast, like and
That's sick.
share. Um, and if you like Prab stuff, reach out to him.
Yeah,
And yeah, catch you guys in the next one.
that's it. Any feedback goes a long way. Okay, easy.
Peace.